So the Supreme Court has just overturned what's called the Chevron decision. So what Chevron is a 40-year-old precedent that basically said that when Congress makes laws that are vague, which most of them are, right? Because Congress is just a random group of people and they are not all experts in the fields in which they are making laws. So when they make a law and it needs more interpretation, there can be a designated government entity with experts in that field who can interpret that law. For example, if Congress makes laws that says, hey, you can't put chemicals in the environment, or hey, you can't leave people dying in the streets, and big businesses come back and say, well, what exactly does that mean? You have entities, government entities like the Environmental Protection Agency or the Department of Health and Human Services who interpret and enforce those laws. Now, with the overturning of this decision, if a certain company does not like the interpretation that a government agency is giving them, they can take them to court to challenge it. That means that the interpretation of the law is no longer up to an agency of experts in the field, but is now going to be interpreted by one judge, one court, who may or may not have any experience whatsoever in that field. This doesn't just affect healthcare. This is everything. This is the labor board. This is environmental agencies, healthcare agencies, financial institutions, everything. Listen, I have major concerns with many of our government agencies and how they run and operate. But the idea that now they are going to be funneling much of their financial resources into inevitably fighting all these companies who are now allowed to challenge them, as well as the idea that companies now have to buy out one judge instead of an entire agency,